But great. You should seriously consider becoming a screenwriter. What in the actual...
Good evening, Johnny Cage.
Alright, welcome back to Algebra Jones, and today we'll be solving quadratics. Yes, they're fun, they're kind of easy, and we're gonna do them anyway. So yeah, let's solve some quadratics. And we have another, this little problem right here that was also afforded to us by Mr. Goff. Yes, thank you, thank you. Now, this is a lot. We're not going to be doing factoring. This time, we're going to be working with quadratics. This entire thing right here, this is considered a quadratic. I know, it's, look at it. Wow. But yeah, take a second to look over. Okay, that's 1 second too many. That's the way we're going to solve this equation right here is to firstly identify. So let's look at some of the terms we have here. We have 2b to the second power plus 8b equals negative. Now the first thing you're going to notice is probably these variables partnered with numbers, which we call, again, coefficients. We went over this in the last video, but we have 2 coefficients, and then we have a constant right here. The only thing is, it's not equal to 0, and that's a problem. So technically the zero product property that we'll be using does in fact state that the zero product property states that if A times B equals 0, then either A or B equals 0. How are we going to do that? Well, firstly, let's look at the number. So this is negative 8. You kind of already know where we're getting at with this. So we're just going to add 8 to get it to equal 0. But the thing about adding 8 right here is that you also have to do whatever you do to this side to the other side. So we're also going to add 8 here. We write the equation as 2b to the second power plus 8b plus 8, because we added this to the equation. We're not necessarily adding it to either of these terms, but we're adding it to the equation at the same time. And then since we added this to 8, it's going to equal 0. So on to finding the GCF, the greatest common factor. So as I said before, all even numbers are divisible by 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, at 16, 14, I did that in the wrong order, but everything going on up, that is all divisible by 2. So I can already tell you that this, the greatest common factor, is in fact going to be 2. So there's the hassle done right there. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to break this up and we're going to start working with our parentheses. So we fill this in right here and then put in our equal 0 at the end. And then what we're going to do is we're going to divide out our greatest common factor by all of these original numbers up here. So on to finding the GCF, the greatest common factor. So as I said before, all even numbers are divisible by. We're going to take 2 and 2b to the second power, and we're going to divide that out by our GCF, which is 2. Now 2 divided by 2, that's 1. Don't write the 1. So it's going to be just B. That is the weirdest looking B. And that is a weird looking 2, but it's perfectly okay. So then we have B to the second power, and then we're going to bring down our plus sign right here, and then we're going to do the same for 8b. 8 divided by 2, that's going to give us 4, but we do not divide the b, because this is a constant, and this is a variable. That wouldn't work, so we just bring the variable down with that as well. And then 8 divided by 2 again, but this time without the variable, that's also going to give us 4. There we go. And then we're going to start working on factoring. Now look at this equation right here. This equation is going to be, we're going to be using G of F. What is that good old-fashioned factoring? Yes, why is it going to be good old-fashioned factoring? Let me explain. It is because of this right here. This variable, this leading variable paired with this this 2 right up here being raised to a certain power. That is why it's going to be factored. And why it's not going to be a PTS or a DOS. This right here is a little secret one. When we have a leading variable, obviously it's disguising itself as 1. And it's, it's 1. So it's gonna be considered factoring. Just write an F right here for factoring. There we go. So, now that we know we're gonna be factoring it, we're going to write another equation. On this, we're going to write our parentheses again. We're gonna write it up here just so I don't run out of space. Equals 0. Remember to write the equals 0. And then we're going to work on this. So, yeah, we're adding more parentheses. You should have saw it coming. So, the first thing we're going to be doing here is we're kind of going to be converting this within these 2 parentheses. And I'm going to explain why. It's because of this right here. This, and also this. So, to convert it, we're going to be breaking this up a bit. Firstly by, we already know that this right here is 2b since it's raised to a certain power that is considerably 2, of course. So, that is also a very weird looking b. So, we have b right here. We're going to put one of those here, and one of those here. And then we're also going to bring up our plus signs. And then this. So, since we did that, and changed these 8s up to 4s, the thing is, they also can be divided in again by our GCF. So, that is also a very weird looking b. So, we have b right here. So, these 4s are going to turn into 2s. We're going to write these in. Why are we going to write these in? Because they can be they're like divided from this 2. This 2 right here is going to divide itself into 4, and then boom, we get 2. So let's erase this equation, since we know what we're working with now. And then, of course, if you wanted to rewrite it, you could do 2 times 2, and that'll give you 4, and then the same for this. So just wait it out. But then we have this equation right here. We're gonna turn this into a mini equation. Yeah, a mini equation. But we can't do that right this instant because we still have this constant right here. Now, the thing about this is that this is not going to help us equal 0. 2 does not, in fact, equal 0. We're going to turn this. 2 is going to be crossed out like this. See, 2 does not equal 0. So this, we're not even going to look at this. We're going to be looking at this b plus 2 and b plus 2 that also looks like a 1, but it's a 2. Don't get it twisted. So we're just going to take this off the end here. And then we're going to turn this into a mini equation. I am going to leave this here though. But just don't pay attention to it. This is for the trash bin, okay? Do not pay attention to the 2. It has no significance to the problem and will not help you get 0. So, with that being said, we're going to turn these into mini equations. So let's write it out. B plus 2 equals 0. Gotta add that equals 0. And then the same since we have equals 0. Look at that. It's amazing. It's perfect. So now what we do here is we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. Why are we subtracting 2? Because we want to get this b alone. And the only way to do that is to get rid of this. This 2 right here is to subtract it by itself. But what we do on this side, we also have to do to the other side. So this is going to turn out to be -2 as well. So there we go. It's going to look just like that. And then let's clear this out here once again. So then we get b equals -2 and b equals -2. And then from there, we're basically pretty much done. So the thing about this is that if you were to write it on a test, it probably would look like -2 dash -2, but altogether the answer is -2 for the equation. If you want to plug it in, you can. Let's do that real quick. So to plug it in, 2, so that's parentheses, -2, parentheses to the second power, plus 8, 8 parentheses, and -2, plus 8 equals 0, and it actually will equal 0 if you want to go ahead and solve that. So yeah, so to plug it in, 2, so that's parentheses, -2, parentheses to the second power, plus 8. It was pretty easy, but that's basically how you do it when it's set up. Again, thanks to Mr. Golf for this amazing problem that we had to solve here. And yeah, this was a lot easier than the last one. But it's, it's still a lot of work, a lot of mumbo jumbo, but you get it. Yeah, 5 stars.